What's up, Exiles? It's Hegemony, and it's time for another update on the progression of my staff and its development. I'll pick up where I left off. Last time we talked about the alternative flavor text that we could have done with the developer, but I'll go ahead and read you some of the emails since then. So I said to Nick, "Hey Nick, it's been a while since I've heard from you. Any updates on the staff? I'm done with the drawing, just haven't added it detailed for scan yet. For scan. I was debating whether or not I would just let you handle the details. Don't forget to push the stats to the limit. I definitely want a continuous power charge feel as if you are moving relatively fast in the map. Defenses are important too. Thanks again, Dean." Grinding gear development, Nick says, "Hey Dean, testing begins this week. We've been busy with 1.14 content, and with the push of your weapon to be the start of the next 4-month league, items that are releasing earlier have a higher priority. You don't necessarily need to draw the staff. Our artists are ridiculously talented, and even a vague description can result in some amazing artwork. Sorry for not replying to your flavor text, by the way. My background is in writing. Generally, I find the simple language is often loaded with more emotional power than complex language. Of course, it depends on the circumstance. I'd recommend using simpler language as an alternative. An example is something like this. The crown bearer brought virtue and clarity, an era of wealth and prosperity. In his hands, a lasting symbol of his rule," which is a really good flavor text. Like, it describes the staff. He says it's not perfect, but I think it connects more easily to readers. If you tell me what you want the flavor to convey, I can get our actual writer to put something together that's more in theme with the actual game. And then I say, "I do prefer the flavor text is from me. How about the right to rule demands mental acuity, bringing an era with moral precept upon precept, providing every native incorruptible sovereignty." So I think he misinterpreted what I had to say, but we'll go ahead and see what he said. "Hey Dean, we're pretty particular about the flavor text. While I like the idea behind what you're getting at, the text doesn't really reference the item or its function." So this is the main problem. The text doesn't reference the item or its function. The argument could be made that it references the name Hegemony's era, but that implies that Hegemony's era was an actual time in the lore for which there is no other reference. Ray class also has a pretty bad series of rulers, basically for its entire known history, which is at odds with what the flavor text implies. We could make a text reference of a fictional story within the game so it doesn't conflict with the Ray class lore. Alternatively, we could probably use the first line in the flavor text and build on it to directly reference the item. Something like, "The right to rule demands mental acuity, a strong arm, and ambiguous morals." There is some confusion about what it means as well. Currently, if we break down the flavor text, the meaning we get is, "The right to rule demands mental acuity. To be a ruler, you need a clear mind." This makes total sense. This totally makes sense. "Bringing an era with moral precept upon precept. Enforcing increasing number of rules based on your morals." This is sounds like totalitarian. "Providing every native incorruptible sovereignty." So this is what he says, "Let your subjects do whatever they want." This kind of sounds like libertarian, which totally contrasts the second line. So what I meant by providing every native incorruptible sovereignty, like incorruptible sovereignty from your government, from your ruler, not letting everybody do what they want. So a nation that has no corruption in their divine power or whatever would not suffer any corruption. That's what I meant. Being an incorruptible leader for your people, this is a less obvious meaning that would require a rephrasing of the sentence. This is what I meant. Rhythm is pretty important too, because most of the flavor text is similar to poetry. The first line flows really well, but the second line and the third lines are pretty clunky. Well, I have to work with the acronym PENIS. That's why the third line is the way it is. This again goes back to using the simple, concise, emotionally charged words in the flavor text and in favor of complex and multisyllabic words. This has an added bonus of appealing to an international audience more easily, as not all players speak English as their native language. Meantime, please let us know if you have any thoughts, concerns, or queries. Regards, Bex. This is her like little CC, I guess. Hi Dean, we are still targeting 1.2.0 to get your item in. Did you still have your sketch done, or would you like to give us a description so the artist can get started on it? Here's a sketch of the PDF attachment. Let me know what you think. There are no colors and shades. Interpretation on the details is fine. Let me know if there's something wrong with it. Also, I would like to know if we could get some kind of glowing effect on the tip, much like the lightning effect in the 3D picture or in the third picture. I would like the gem at the top and the staff to be a blue power charge color. Let me know if this is doable. Drawing was inspired by a few of these staves. So these are some of the ones that I googled and I liked. I liked the way they were designed, and I took some of my inspirations. I really like this. This is kind of like some of the flavor that I took. This looks more like, I don't know, kind of like Star Warsy, and then I like kind of took this theme. So this is the drawing that I ended up doing. Where is it? Okay, so Hegemony's era. Here's the drawing that I did, inspired by all of them. I took the gem from this and the kind of the base of this from that. I took these wings, these like sharp bladed wings. This kind of looks like more like Star Wars. And then I took kind of like the base of this. I like how it's kind of rigid and not just smooth. So I took some of that and I inspired it at the base here. And this is also part of the reason why I made it like, I don't know, I really wanted to have a good solid base. And then the rib thing I added myself because since it is talking about a firm grip and being a, you know, a pretty strong and powerful staff, you know, physically, I wanted the user to use, you know, the base that's ribbed so you have like a better grip, and it kind of conveys more of a, you know, instead of holding it up here like Gandalf or something like a caster staff, you'd hold it at the base and use it to, you know, whack people with. Okay, so then this is the reply. He says, awesome. I've sent it off to the artist and should have something for you to look over soon. Have you had any further thoughts about the flavor text? And then I rewrote it. I said, the right to rule demands mental acuity, a strong arm with great tenacity. Tenacity can mean multiple things. We'll just dictionary. Tenacity. Tenacity is the noun or being tenacious. Holding fast, characterizing a firm hold, highly retentive, adhesive, sticky, holding together. You know, so it makes sense. A strong arm with great tenacity, like inspiration and understanding. Like I like that about the word tenacity. He says working on the and then I said working on the third line, can't get it quite right just yet. This is when I was working with the acronym PENIS, and I was like, man, this is really hard. And then I wrote something like preventing every nihilist in society, and that didn't really fit. I couldn't get it to fit. I couldn't think of an N word. A nihilist is a person of extreme skepticism, purpose that thinks life has no meaning or its existence is, you know, meaningless or whatever. Total rejection of established laws and institutions. So it's kind of like your rebellion or anything of that kind. That's why I said. But I had a feeling that it didn't really describe the staff. It talked more about a time or a governing period. So I knew that it was just going to get shot down. So he says, hey, Dean, the second line seems disjointed since it's 2 bits. A strong arm, great tenacity don't really link together. I tend to disagree, but whatever. I'm not the English major, but could be reworked into something cool. If I can make a suggestion, you could do something like the right to rule demands mental acuity, a strong arm, and a tenacious sense of justice, which I really like this last line. So despite me trying to put the word penis, I gave a pretty valiant effort, I think, and I really like this third line. So I'm gonna go ahead with this flavor text. It definitely was inspired by what I wanted, and I guess I failed at the challenge. So he said, I forgot to add, I have an art update. How does this look? So if we compare the two, it's pretty damn close. However, I felt, we'll just see what I had to say. I really like how the art came out. However, when I look at it, it's a blue. Look at the blue, it looks rather coldish. It makes me think of a frost caster staff. Would it be possible to get the color of Brightbeak? I really like how Brightbeak looks on the 3D model with the gold glow. Leave the top part blue, but darken the power charge or a peacock gem. So I wanted it to be the color of essentially like a blue gem, like a darker shade of blue, or the power siphon. And then as far as the Brightbeak, this is what the Brightbeak looks like in game. So you notice it has a golden glow. This is exactly what I want the base of the staff to have. It doesn't have to have this whole, sparky stuff, but I definitely want the golden glow. He says the blue glow should look great with sweep. Please let me know what you think. And then he said, here's another version of the artwork. Here's a bigger picture of it. And it's going to be gold. I'm going to make sure it's gold like the Brightbeak stuff. And he darkened the blues. So now it no longer looks super frosty, but it looks darker like the power charge and the blue gems. So I think it's a good finish, or it's a good compromise. I can understand why he didn't really go for the super straight jagged lines, because this game is pretty rugged in itself and it needs a little bit more Rayclastiness instead of super sharp. But I'm really happy with what they came out. This is really cool. I said the artwork looks great, and the addition to the flavor to text, I really wanted to go with something more about in-game period of time in a special era, but I can't help but really liking what you had added the third line. I think it's a great compromise. So I guess now we need to talk about the testing and the negotiations on the stats. Can you relay any feedback that you can share with me at this? Okay, that was really butchered. Thanks a bunch, Nick. I appreciate it a bunch. Oh yeah, just to make sure it glows like Brightbeak in game. Thanks again. So pretty much that's the update of the progress on the staff. I don't know. He says 1.2.0. If it's done sooner, maybe it gets pushed out earlier. But at the minimum, 1.2.0 is when we can expect to see the staff. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for keeping up with the staff and supporting the channel. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys later.